One thing I will say about modern society, that it does have a lot of distractions, and those distractions make it really hard to concentrate. There's so many things going on in our life with multitasking, the computers, the internet, all of these pressures that are coming from outside of ourselves that seem to be building up. And we look back on life in past ages and it seems so peaceful out there in the countryside. But peaceful it may have been outwardly, but also there was times of stress as well in those days as well. I remember when I was growing up, one of the big stresses that I had to face, and every generation has to face the same thing, is that the exams are coming up. Am I going to get good marks? Are my parents going to be happy? These types of things are universal to everybody in every society. The cure for this, you might say, how we have to attack and address this, is it has to begin first with the parents. And it has to begin first with, also secondly, with the teachers in school, because the children ending up being the victims of what's going on with the adults, the expectations, the unreasonable expectations they place upon themselves, on the children, and the pressures that accompany that. But the children being the victims, they're the ones that have to deal with this directly. How do I concentrate? How do I meet these expectations in the midst of a world where there's so many distractions going on? And I think one of the modern problems that you find is this whole idea of multitasking, thinking that the more I can do at one time, the more effective I'm going to be in life. And that's really not going to be the answer. We have to look for the key to concentration, and that's learning to do one thing at a time and do it well. My teacher, Swami Kriyananda, was very much that way. He was a genius in so many fields. But yet, when he would take up art, he would be an artist. When he'd take up music, he would be a musician. When he would take up spirituality and meditate, nothing could dissuade him. And this is what we have to do to learn to concentrate, is to focus our attention one thing at a time. We also mustn't also forget that concentration has a companion in order for us to be successful in school, to be successful in our job. We also need to develop intuition. Concentration is a tool that allows us to focus, but intuition gives us the ability to understand the larger picture. And I think any educational system needs to be developed and focus on being able to bring out those qualities in children. Education, I was asked to speak a little bit about that, and I look at modern education, and one of the problems I see with it is it's unbalanced. It doesn't develop the whole child. It tends to concentrate here, particularly now for the classes in India, particularly those that are going on to college and universities. It's so much toward the intellect, but what about the body? Physical fitness? What about the emotions, teaching proper emotional control? What about the spiritual side, the soul, that intuitive side that I just spoke of, the artistic side? All of these need to be in balance, and if you don't have balance, the whole being of the child comes out of balance. And when the soul, or when the being, or when the body, the emotions are out of balance, inevitably you're going to have stress and you're going to have tension, because you cannot deal with the world as it is. And these need to be developed. Now, it's not the child's job to develop those in the school. That's for the teachers. That's for those who operate the schools. And ultimately, it has to come down to the parents, because the schools respond to what the parents want. And it has to be, it's the parents' responsibility to raise the child. And so they have to want these things for their child, and if they demand it and want it, and they'll make choices to make sure that that will ultimately be the end product. But it's going to take time, and we all have to work together. Those of us who have children, those of us who don't have children, those who are in positions of responsibility, and particularly parents.